Wake up!
Get up
You get out of bed this instant.
and turn it on. Glenn, Angel, and the Flying Dutchman. The Big Show on Kiss 92.
Oh my god, did you just catch me yawn on the Big Show TV?
I wasn't watching.
Yeah,
I hope nobody saw
we
that.
did.
Oh, you
We
did?
all did. Yes,
Hello.
we all did.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing from the therapy room, award-winning psychologist, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Gerry.
Morning, that was smooth. You just distracted everyone.
That's my middle name, what? Glenn Smooth Ong. Anyway, Gerry, we're talking about invisibility today. Tell us a little bit more.
Invisible mental health conditions. So I thought I wanted to do that because I think a lot of people are coming in and saying this person referred them, that person referred them. They don't know why they're sitting on my couch, but they're feeling frustrated, So I thought let's bring some light into some of these different states. So I know that the title is condition, but I thought maybe we talk about our physical or our mental states, because a lot of teens also say, right, oh, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that way, and they are on a hunt for a lot of different types of labels. They're trying to diagnose themselves. So maybe it's not quite a condition, maybe it is a state that they are in. So I know we talked about a lot of invisible conditions. Invisible conditions, immediately you think of invisible mental health conditions, you would say depression, anxiety, PTSD. You would talk about the physical conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia. Is it? How do I pronounce that again? Myalgia. I think that's what it is. Yeah. And then you have your migraines, which people cannot see unless you tell someone, or a stomach ache. So people can fake all these physical disorders and no one can see. But when you genuinely have it, you're in pain, you're tired, you're exhausted. So if we talk about mental health, physical conditions that are invisible, there are 1,000,001 invisible conditions that we can talk about. So it could be that, but maybe it is not that. So I want us to all think about it.
Gerry, I just heard this from someone yesterday, and I want to... Is there a condition that you can relate to this?
Yeah.
I am burnt out. I'm on the point of rage. His words, not mine. I'm burnt out. I'm on the point of rage. But I have to keep going. How is there a condition you can put to that?
Is
Burnout,
there a clinical condition?
clinical
Maybe
condition.
not a clinical condition. That's why it is so difficult. Everybody is hunting for a condition. Everybody is attempting to label nowadays, because when pandemic hit, and then COVID, the whole COVID and all the stressors came about, we suddenly started to label many things, or more labels started to surface. So everyone was trying to search for a label for themselves. But what if there is no label?
I can think of a few
Then-
hashtags right there. Hashtag I see red. Hashtag I'm pissed off. Hashtag
Burnout.
Yeah, so you see, for me, the operative word
Yeah.
in what he was saying was rage. And does that
Yeah.
relate to anxiety?
I don't know. It may not be
Anger.
anxiety.
I mean, it's
may
obvious
not be
one.
anxiety.
No,
Okay.
to me it
It's
wasn't.
obvious.
No, because I look at him and he looks fine.
The guy is overworked. He's tired. He needs a break, but he can't afford to take
That's
a
why
break.
people always say don't mess around with someone who's quiet. If the person is
noisy.
quiet, you carry on poking that fella, you see what happens.
Okay,
That's FD
let's
sometimes.
hold your friend in our minds for a little while. Okay, I'm gonna say 3 statements that people tend to say to another person. Okay, so 1, oh, you feel tired, but you don't look sick.
Okay.
So you might be complaining about something, right? And they say, "Oh, but you look fine. You don't look sick. You look very well." Okay, second statement. You've always managed. It's okay. You can do it. You've always managed. Second statement. Third statement. You're very clever. You can do it one. You're so intelligent. Nothing phases you. 3 statements. Now, after hearing the 3 statements or any one of those statements, how do you think you would react?
Okay, let's talk about that on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Quavo and Lenny Kravitz, Fly on Kiss 92.
So coming back to your friend, right? Which of these statements, and perhaps more, right? Which of these statements do you think he has been subjected to?
All of them, I'd say.
I would say all of them. In particular, you've always managed.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
And that, it's something that you and I would also say so subconsciously. But the
Yeah.
impact on the other person, sometimes we think that we are reassuring them. We think that we are supporting them. But what happens is it shuts the other person up. It just ensures that they don't share anymore, because whatever I say, you're going to tell me that I can manage. So why should I share with you anymore?
But I've been guilty also of saying that. Like somebody says, oh, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling in a rut, this and that. But then I say, you know what, you've done it once, you can do it again. And I find like with certain people, it motivates them.
Correct.
Because what else can you say? I mean, you need to encourage them.
Yeah. And you think you're encouraging them, right?
Yeah.
Yep. True. And it sometimes work, but like you say, for certain people at a certain level of stress, it is an encouragement. But perhaps in FD's friend's case, he is at that brink where, I don't want to hear that I can manage anymore. I just want somebody else to take the driver's seat. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to rest.
That's why that's why I turned to him last night and I said his problem was he has no succession plan. He has no one to help him take on the work and later take over from him. So he feels he has to do it all.
Succession as in a child or
As in
an employee?
finds an employee. Find someone that you can turn into the closest thing to your clone. So he can take some of the weight
Delegate,
off you. That's what I ended up telling him. I don't know whether that was putting more pressure on him or not.
Are you a professional?
But essentially,
See,
We
exactly.
were just
But he's a
talking.
friend.
I've had friends come up to me as well before. But did I give them advice? Like FD gave the friend some advice?
But what was wrong with me giving him advice?
Because you're not a professional, that's why.
No, there's nothing
So-
wrong with saying
As
what
a-
you're saying.
as
So for me, what I do is I immediately go like, give Dr. Geraldine Tan a call. She'll probably be able to give you better advice than me.
this is not smooth anymore.
No,
I'll take
it's not.
away your
Yeah.
time.
What do you mean?
That's just like
It's
sucking up. No.
It's just sucking up,
You
yeah.
not
Do I
giving
suck
anyone
up to anybody?
advice?
Yeah.
Oh, please.
No, I only give people advice if they really want my advice. But I always feel like my advice is not good enough. I'd rather,
I don't think it's
send
advice.
them to a professional.
I think it's more opinion that we give. The advice maybe the advice would come from a professional, but the opinion comes from friends and colleagues.
Yeah, but I tell you,
Tell us.
the advice from a professional is absolutely amazing.
Of course.
I mean, I go to the therapy room. I see one of Gerry's colleagues whenever I need, like,
To talk.
to get some
Clarify.
to
to get
Clarify.
clarity.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just talk to your friends, because your friends will always be slightly biased
Yeah, for sure.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So I find that very, very useful
And therapeutic.
and therapeutic.
That's why they call it
Yeah.
therapy.
Because I think to myself, there, you see, I was right.
Oh, so they're just telling you, they're just reconfirming what you actually thought in
Most
the
of the
beginning.
time,
before.
like, I mean,
He's like, I just want you to tell me I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew it. I knew it. I was correct.
Validation.
Validation, that's what you want.
He needs validation. Sometimes he's just a little boy that needs
Yes.
validation.
That you can't play in his treehouse.
Okay.
Anyway, coming back to FD, right? So, what FD did is, not just giving advice, you're resourcing him. So, remember the 5 different pillars. So, one of the resources is social resource. So, you recognized that. So, if we have said you have always managed, then we didn't hear him correctly. Where he says, I feel so tired, I feel so alone. But I think what FD heard is that, okay, you are alone and you are exhausted. You need someone. So that's a social resource that you encouraged him to go and seek. So he might not seek that successor at this point, but he might look for someone to rely on, as a stopgap measure for this period of time. But you've reminded him already that maybe he needs a little bit of social support. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes if we just remember the 5 pillars, right? So FD picked up on the social part. Sometimes we need to remind them about their physical health. If you're exhausted, how can you catch some rest? If you're overstimulated, intellectually, how can you pace yourself? Or how can you then allow yourself to excite yourself a little bit more? And
Okay. We're going back on air. Step.
To get to you, to get to you.
Kiss 92 traffic.
If you're headed down the KJE, especially towards the PIE, look out for a broken down vehicle before the Chua Chu Kang Drive exit. That's it for now. If you spot anything else, it's 885550
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for today and every Tuesday morning is from the Therapy Room. You can follow her at the Therapy Room SG, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Gerry.
good morning.
And this morning, Gerry is giving FD some advice. Or FD's friend some advice. Sorry,
really.
FD's friend some advice.
Asking for a friend, yes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So the manifestation of these states, our mental states, our physical states, right? So if the body is not well, whether physically or mentally, it manifests itself differently. So you actually can see it. So how FD saw it was just anger. So the rage, or how the friend expressed, right, is anger. So there are 3 different areas that it kind of surfaces physically, where we have our aches, our pains, our headaches, our gastric. Behaviorally, we just really get angry. We see kids being grouchy when they don't have enough sleep. When they are overstimulated and they are very restless, they get the zippies, they just zip around the room. So that's behavioral, or they slam things. And you go like, why do you have to do that? Maybe they're overstimulated. Emotional, breaking down. And sometimes you just sit there and you just like cry, or you just feel like screaming, and you feel confused because you don't know where all these emotions are coming from. So they manifest in these 3 different areas.
Oh, that is scary. That is, if you ask me, like the ultimate mental illness. Like not being able to do anything about it, or not knowing what to do. So, people like that you just mentioned should see a therapist, don't you think?
Not really. I mean, we do need to talk about it. So, for example, I talk about the emotional state. I remember a very, very, very long time ago when I was starting in the hospital. There was one day that every patient was breaking down on me, just crying. So imagine 8 hours of patients crying, in front of you. And I thought I was managing it really, really well, and was really proud of myself. And then I went into the office at the end of the day. So there's a staff office, right? Closed the door, sat down, and tears started rolling down my eyes. And I was like, hey, wait a minute, but I don't feel sad. I don't feel sad. Where are these tears coming from? And, when I recollect the day, it was like just one person after another person, my own emotions had to come out. But did I consciously think that I was sad? No, I wasn't. Yeah.
Because all you did was absorb. You absorbed all that energy from other people, right? And you had to sort of have an outlet for it as well.
Oh my goodness, I can't imagine
But
that.
the body keeps score. The body remembers. The body feels it for you, you see. And sometimes that is what happens. So when we say we need to keep moving forward. We keep doing things. We just need to keep doing things. We forget that our body is receiving a lot of different information. And if we don't pause, we don't talk about it, our body will react some way, somehow, and we might not be aware.
Right. Okay. I know you got many people to talk to. I mean, because look, although you're a psychologist, I'm sure you, from time to time, would like to talk to a fellow psychologist or whatever. But just let you know that my couch is available to you at any time as well. Okay, it's 8:21.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by
So cheeky.
Glenn's couch.
Gerry, we've got a very interesting statement on our Facebook I'd like to read to you and then get your comment. Sometimes the pain, the stress, and the internal turmoil just becomes part of you. Then you don't need to see or seek help from anyone because there's no end or solution to your condition. And over time, you learn to regulate and manage it by yourself.
That sounds awful.
It sounds horrible.
Sounds terrible to live with.
Horrible.
Yeah. So the resilient person that we are, so human beings are very, very, very resilient. So we would face an issue, regulate ourselves, and that's what we're constantly doing with micro traumas day to day, right? But when it gets to a point where you get frustrated with yourself, where it starts to affect people, and that's something I realized recently. That's why I chose to talk about it, is because there are friends, there are spouse that push their friends or spouse for sessions, saying that I cannot stand this behavior anymore. Please go and seek help. So they request for the person to come in for a session. And this is exactly what the person says. I've been dealing with it. I know how to deal with it. I don't know why I'm here. And then you start to dig a little bit further, and they have been dealing with the negativity all their lives. And they don't know how to put down that sack of potatoes. So there's the sack of potatoes being their burdens, right? Or their frustrations. They don't know how to put it down anymore. And they're even afraid to put it down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's affecting the people around them. It's affecting them because it's breaking them down. So they recognize that part, that they are breaking down, and that their loved ones are also suffering.
You mentioned that they are afraid to release that burden. Why? Because they've become so used to it?
Wait up, before
It's
you answer
very-
that question, that's a very good question. If you're watching us right now and you are one of those people who perhaps maybe feels you need help, or maybe in the past you didn't think you needed help, get in touch with us on Facebook and tell us how you're feeling right now and why you think you're feeling the way you're feeling.
Yeah.
Gerry?
So they're feeling very familiar with that. They know how to deal with that. And they have dealt with it for maybe 20 over years, 30 over years, 40 over years, to completely relinquish that part of themselves which has become integrated into their person, and the way that they do things is very, very alien. It will become very, very alien. It will become even more uncomfortable, which is why we need to dialogue about it. So when they re-regulate themselves, it's best to do it with a professional. Otherwise, they can feel quite displaced. So them breaking down, that's not the biggest issue. Them thinking that they can throw it all away suddenly, it's like cutting off medicine without the doctor's, direction or care. Yeah.
So it could be someone that's going through abuse as well, that's carrying that sort of secret
Yes.
almost, or burden.
Yep. It could be, but it doesn't have to be as big as that. So I actually want to introduce an idea to all of us today. So all of us have emotions. We've already established that, and all of us feel intense emotions at some point in time. I wonder, okay, I'm going to say a few behaviors. Have you ever spoken and tried to talk over a friend, and you realize and caught yourself, oh, why am I doing it so often today? Okay, so that's one.
I do it all the time, by the way, just in case I forget to say that.
Interruption is my
clicking-
middle name.
Clicking off a pen.
FD does that.
All the time.
The humming at strange times.
That's not the same as
Or-
singing, right?
No.
FD,
Or-
how come your Mont Blancs? How come your Mont Blancs have the click 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 click?
He's
They
not
don't.
using
That-
a Mont Blanc. They're these pens that he uses.
You will notice something. If I'm ever not 100% comfortable,
Yeah.
I'll be using a pen like this.
He clicks all the
It's
time.
a sign, and I do this all the time.
I'll be using a pen
Very
like this,
annoying.
a cheap pen, as opposed to an expensive
You
pen.
can't click a Mont Blanc. Come on.
Yeah, you don't click a Mont Blanc.
Okay, sorry. Go on, Gerry. Some more.
So after mentioned, right, when he's not comfortable. The other one would be like twirling their hair. Have you ever seen like people twirling, especially
Shalini.
guys? They have very, very
No
short
lah.
hair.
Shani do that? No, she does not.
Yeah. Anyhow, point
But I thought-
fingers. He
I thought
cannot do that.
That's why
I
you can't
did that.
do
I
that.
did that.
No, she did that, not me. But you see, when a girl twirls her hair and looks at you,
There's a difference between
Right.
flirting and twirling.
I mean, she's
Yes.
flirting with
Yes,
you, right?
yes,
No,
but
not
not when
all
she's
the
just
time.
twirling like mindlessly.
Gerry,
you know?
what is this
Yeah.
flirting you're talking about now?
Not flirting, but you have to twist it.
It's mindless twirling of hair.
Yeah, she doesn't even know she's doing
Guys
it.
will just twirling
guys.
their hair and they realize, oh, I pulled out some hair.
Is that why I'm balding? Oh dear, that's not laughing.
Mindless
Yeah,
twirling
but
of the hair
mindless twirling.
at the office
Yeah.
is like she's flirting with everyone.
No.
Okay.
Don't spread
Sorry.
rumors.
Okay, go on.
Oh dear me. So no, so these behavior are things that are really common that we see, but we don't pay attention. But what FD said is we do it when we are uncomfortable. But what does uncomfortable mean? What emotions are getting a little bit more intense that we need to do these behaviors? And these behaviors are stimming behaviors. STIMMING.
What's stimming?
Stimming behaviors. So stimming behaviors is self-stimulatory behaviors, and these behaviors can be are usually repetitive, and it can be also vocalization. That means you do it with your vocal cords.
Okay, hold on, Gerry.
Yeah, so-
Going back on air.
Icicle, ride bicycle, come true, yo. Get you this type of blow. If you wanna manage, I got a tricycle.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Just one situation on the TPE. This is heading towards the SLE. A vehicle has broken down at the SLE BKE exit. Other than that, it's the usual peak hour traffic. If you spot anything, it's 8855509220.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is award-winning psychologist from the therapy room, Dr. Geraldine Tan. And she was just explaining what stimming is. And we're not talking about stimming a pomfret or something like that at this point.
Steaming. This is stimming.
What is it? Well, some people. I mean, have you spoken to some people?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is stimming once again?
Stim my
STIMMING.
Stimming is clinically referred to as self-stimulatory behaviors, and it's usually repetitive, and it can be vocalization also. So we were talking about behaviors like the humming or making throat sounds or clicking the pen, twirling their hair, which is not flirting, it's just mindlessly twirling. So these are repetitive behavior, but all of us may identify some of our own stimming behaviors. Why I want to highlight that is many young people, and I don't know about Cheyenne and Shalini, whether you have heard your friends use this term, because I think it's very popular with the young people nowadays.
As in stimming?
Yes, that
Stimming.
Stimming.
Did they use it correctly or not?
Have you all heard stimming?
Maybe some of your friends,
Cheyenne has.
Cheyenne has.
they were angry and they said,
Yeah.
I'm stimming right now.
No, I've heard it before.
Okay.
I stim my fish.
Jerry,
Ayo.
we're staying with this stimming thing, Jerry.
Right.
Yes.
Have we finished answering already or not? Because
She said yes, she's heard
Okay,
it.
cool.
She's heard it, yeah.
Yes.
Heard it. A couple of things have come up. Rachel has said pen clicking is almost rampant among primary school kids.
Yeah.
Is that a stimming? Is that stimming
It
behavior?
is a stimming behavior. So a stimming behavior used to be used largely with children on the autistic spectrum disorder as well as ADHD. So a lot of young people say that, oh, I'm autistic, or oh, I have ADHD. So I want to debunk that myth today.
And a lot of them, I mean, without the pens, they use those fidget machines as fidget gadgets as well, right? And
Yes,
those little popping
they do.
bubble things.
Yeah.
Just to keep their hands busy. But is it keeping hands busy or just like really needing to do something? Because sometimes I
So-
feel like I need to do something as well.
So the self-stimulating behaviors are ways of self-regulating and coping with intense emotion. So there are times where you see people when they are talking and they're very excited, their hands start flapping or their
The
legs
Italians.
start shaking.
That's not stimming.
That's different.
That's gesticulation. They speak with their hands.
Okay, I'm just...
Okay, no.
Jerry, you know how some people sit and they can't keep their legs still?
I think that's
Yes.
habit.
Is that stimming?
It probably is. So
See?
for some of them, it is. I am feeling a lot of it could be anxiety, excitement, and the legs get faster and faster.
Yeah.
So we in the past, teachers used to say, oh, that's such a rude behavior, or that's such a bad behavior, or you're very lazy. Can you just like sit properly? Can't you remember my instructions? So they get scolded. Yes, some of them may have ADHD, but not all of them have ADHD.
Okay.
Okay, not
yeah,
all, my mom, when I was growing up, when I was a kid, I used to do that quite a
Yeah.
bit. Like shake
she
my
whack
legs.
your leg, right?
And, no.
My dad
She's
used to
like,
whack my leg.
do you want to be poor next time? I'm
because
like,
all your money will fall
yeah,
out.
'cause all my money will fall out of my pocket. I'm like, okay.
I want to find out
noted.
from Dr. Jerry why men seem to do it more than women.
Yes.
Let's go onto the Big Show TV. To
All
find
right.
out.
Meantime, here's a new one from Jenny. Mantra on Kiss 92.
Pretty, 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 pretty. This that pretty girl.
So why is it, Dr. Gerry, that men clearly do it a lot more than women?
Well, there are all the different senses, right? So we have 5 different senses. So for it could be a little bit of a gender divide there, but the men tend to be a little bit more vestibular, where they will be rocking. So you see the rockers when they do the back and forth.
What? I see lady rockers doing that as well.
Yes, I know, but it could be a learned behavior. It's not very natural for a girl to do that, or the rocking behavior, the spinning behavior, the shaking behavior. So they tend to be a little bit more bigger in their movements, right? It could be a smaller movement. It could be a hand movement. Okay, so that's the children on the spectrum or adults on the spectrum. They may have more repetitive behavior, stimming behavior with their fine motor skills. It could be also tactile. So if you notice some people, where they flip the pages nowadays people don't flip pages anymore, but in my time when you flip textbooks or you flip storybooks, and they have to touch it a few more times, and it's not OCD. So they like the tactile or the feeling of the corner of a book.
Flip, sort of playing with it. Yeah.
Or some of the children who like the corner of the blanket because it's very soothing, it's very calming. The auditory one that we were talking about, the humming, the whistling, echolalia, repeating words or phrases, so those are on the spectrum. But for the auditory one, you actually can hear, and that's what some students share, right? In a quiet exam hall, you hear somebody go, they have a lot of throat clearing behavior.
Hex.
No, but after the paper, they seem perfectly fine. So it's that whole, stress of the paper, is that whole pressure, is the whole fear, perhaps. I'm not sure what emotions they are feeling that causes the irritation in their throat.
They just had a smoke outside of the examination room.
So is it like a nervous tick or an anxious,
it could be
reaction?
But that kind of calms them down, and they may not even be aware that they are doing it. Yeah, and then when the whole paper is over, they go like, oh, okay, how come your throat is miraculously, it resolved itself, So that's what the friends sometimes scold another friend, and like, you disturb us the entire paper, and now you're fine.
Because I've come across like people, say on the train or a private hire taxi driver, or even a taxi driver, with repetitive behavior like movements, sometimes their leg moves and then they're jerking a lot with the brakes or something. Correct. Or they're clearing their throat throughout the ride.
So that could be a tick. It may not be something that it may not be a stimming behavior. So that's why there is a huge difference. That's why I wanted to highlight. Sometimes all of us can have stimming behaviors. Yeah. So there's the olfactory one where we smell things or lick things. Typically, we do
lick things.
Yeah. So those on the spectrum tend to do that. They will bring their nose to certain things and they will smell them, or they will lick everything that they see.
Smelling is still okay, but licking is a bit disgusting.
Yeah. But I mean, that's kids, people on the spectrum do that. So you can't really say that.
Yeah.
As in they lick people as well? Or what?
They do sometimes. Yeah, so we need to teach them. So we need to do a lot of behavioral work with them, especially, if it is societally, determined that it's inappropriate. We need to help them with that.
Is that their way of identifying what something is? Because if you smell it, you can sort of tell what it is. Is that the same with licking? and
It
touching.
probably is, where it helps them to familiarize themselves with an item, with something. It is calming for them. It poses no danger to them. So it might then
Well, it could be dangerous, right?
Yeah, we might as well settle this right now because I mean, if we come across a situation like that, or
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
into a situation like that, it'll be very uncomfortable,
Uncomfortable,
for
yeah.
us. Although we try to be understanding, but it'll be uncomfortable for us. So,
Yes.
do they just lick once or they lick many times? I just want to clarify. Because if it's just once, then I'll just give my
wouldn't know.
hand. Then, in case it's like okay, yeah.
No,
just-
but what do we
lick me
do?
one
I
time.
mean, the reaction from people could be very, very ghastly, to this child or adult and the person that they're with. So how do we react?
Most of the time they're with an adult already, so who knows them? So I don't think so. You don't see many people going around licking everyone, right?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
because most of them are already managed when they are young, and they are being they have their own therapy. They're being managed already. So I don't think we should be worried too much, but do not put out your hand for them to lick, Yeah.
and that's
if
just
they
me
do
being
it
nice, letting the person lick me once.
No, then you undo whatever the therapist has taught
You don't
them and
encourage.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I don't mean to be mean here, but what if I give the person one tight slap?
Glenn?
No, I'm just saying, in case. Hey, there are real situations like this. Someone who's
He's
not
right.
comfortable,
He's right.
might react like that.
They might push the
I'm
child
just,
away or
I'm just
something.
being honest
Yeah.
here.
But as
right?
Dr. Gerry said, there are a
Yeah.
lot of time, if not all of the time, they're accompanied by somebody who can stop their behavior, and obviously
Okay.
will slap you back if you slap them.
Yeah, no, obviously. But then if that person is unable to stop this person and that happens, I'm just saying there might be a reaction. Okay, going for a traffic update.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the McRitchie Viaduct towards the Lawney Viaduct after Upper Thompson Road, look out for an accident. Also on the AYE towards Tuas after Jurong Port Road's exit, causing quite a bit of backup to Jurong Town Hall's exit. Please avoid lane 3. Another accident has been spotted. And someone texted in congestion on the AYE. I think that's the one that I just mentioned. Towards Tuas before Jurong Town Hall exit. There is an accident and there is a massive backup. So if you can take an alternative route on that AYE heading towards Tuas, please do so. For any updates, WhatsApp us 88550920.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for today is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room, and we've been discussing invisible mental conditions for the past 42 minutes now. And just now on The Big Show TV, we were talking about, a certain situation. Like, if someone has a condition and comes up to you and you feel extremely uncomfortable, how should you react?
But that's not really invisible, right? That's quite obvious that, and in your face, that something, some sort of special reaction needs to be had.
Okay, so I mean, we were
Correct.
talking about some a condition where people either
They're on the
what were you
spectrum.
saying?
They're on the spectrum.
Yeah,
they're
they're-
on the spectrum.
But the
I
licking
think
part.
we're
Yeah,
talking
they're on
about,
the spectrum.
I want to carry.
swimming behavior. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to carry on with Glenn's licking.
No, not Glenn's licking.
The topic. Should we, if let's say, even though that person's with an adult, that person slips and does lick you, do we just accept it, or do we turn and we
React.
say, maybe you shouldn't be doing that?
I don't think so,
Yeah,
right?
good question. But that's
Yeah,
a very
it's
good
valid.
question,
It's
though.
valid, yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah, I guess if you're caught by surprise, just pulling away already indicates to the carer and the child that behavior is no good.
Okay.
Right? And so you can say, so you do want to put a stop to that behavior, right? So you can say, excuse me, but it may not, the child or the person with needs might not be aware that of what he has done. Yeah.
Right.
So if we pick a fight with the person, there's no point. The best way is if you have already stated your point, you've stopped the behavior, and the person doesn't appear contrite. You probably know the person is not aware. You move away. Yeah. But if it is available for the person and the person apologizes, you accept it and then you move away. So yeah. I don't think we can and should make a big fuss at that point in time, because the child might not be might not understand the whole situation, or
This is
might not
a child.
understand the gravity of the situation.
This is a child we're talking about. I'm sure there are adults who might be doing that as well.
I'm
Right?
sure.
I'll tell you first, if it's an adult, I'll punch the person for sure. Or slap the person.
Anyways, no, so we're not talking about just those on the spectrum. We're not talking about those with ADHD. We're talking about all of us. And all of us can have stimming behaviors, whether it is auditory, whether it is vestibular, whether it is visual, trying to neaten everything, the blinking, staring and just staring into space, staring into the light, or even just like picking on our skin, picking on our nails. So you see that very often, or even having to smell. So I like the olfactory one because, occasionally we will be talking about smelling the medicated oil. And, some of the students or even the adults would take the medicated oil and then rub on their noses and inhale it. So that is also a calming. And they say, oh, I feel really good. They don't say, I need it to calm myself. They say, I feel really good after I smell it. So these are things that we need to be attuned to, that, hey, maybe we are not comfortable, and we ask ourselves, what is it that I don't feel comfortable with? Or is there emotion that I am feeling that, I need to pay attention to?
Okay, Gerry, it's time for us to go. We need your
I was
quote.
going to do a exercise, but so a very quick one. So whoever that is on the roads right now, a very mindful exercise, just release your jaw by parting your mouth. Okay, just a little bit. Don't open your mouth so big.
What does it
And
mean?
then if your hands are on the wheel, or even if we are here, are seated, we can just release our grip a little bit. Don't let go of the wheel, just release your grip. Breathe. And then release our thighs and our buttocks.
Don't grip.
Don't release the brakes or the acceleration.
Gerry.
Continue.
Might not be a great driving exercise.
Exactly.
But they can, because what we want is to pay attention to these parts that we might have forgotten, and we are gripping really tightly, or we are biting down on our jaws, or we are squeezing our butts very, very tightly. So these are the spaces that are often invisible, but we hold it there so subconsciously. And I want to remind everybody to breathe. So I will give the quote now, because I know I have to go. And I want to, because the team and I have just watched Dear Evan Hansen, so I'm going to quote from one of the songs. Even when the dark comes crashing through, and when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you,
Nice one,
Gerry.
Gerry.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day
worries.
ahead. And love and hugs to all your clients today.
Love and hugs back too. Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Coming up, headline news and sports.
Wake up.
Glenn, Angel, and the Flying Dutchman.
Wake up.
The Big Show on